All right, hey guys, Peace Blaster here. And so I thought it was a ridiculous claim that Apple made a while ago that computers were going to die out in favor of mobile devices. But I'm here to discuss how I think that there is a very, very real possibility that iPads will come to replace laptops. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to go as far as desktops because, very high end gaming and stuff will still require a dedicated graphics card and things like that, obviously. But as sort of a case in point, I am going to use the iPad that I am recording this on now and just kind of walk through typical things that you would expect of your device, along with some slightly more specialized things. And as a further case in point, the most recent wave of iPad Pro commercials on TV were shot and edited on an iPad Pro. So, in that spirit, I will be doing everything on this iPad. Like, period, end of story. This is the only part of the video that I will be cheating for because I can't take a picture of the iPad with the iPad, but I am recording this on an iPhone so that theoretically you could still do this if you had two iPads. Now, the reason I'm doing this is to show you the setup I'm using. This is a cheap iPad stand that I found on Amazon for like 15 bucks. Here's what it looks like without it. And it's like, maybe not one-handed, but you can like tilt it back and forth. And that is a Vortex Core mechanical keyboard. And I'm using that with the Apple camera adapter. And for this particular keyboard, you don't actually need external power right here. The way this works is this end plugs into your iOS device. And then there's a USB port on it. I don't want to take it apart because it's somewhat nicely cable managed. And then this is just a normal USB port, and then you plug in a lightning cable to a power source if whatever the USB device is needs more power than the iPad can provide. Now, when I tried this with a full 108 key backlit gaming keyboard, it did need the external power. And I checked, you can also plug in small USB hubs to this if you need more USB ports. And so that is my setup. Here we go. So I've divided things up into folders, kind of corresponding to things you may expect from your device. Now, shopping, I mean, duh, that's not really worth taking the time to get into because, like, obviously we all buy stuff on Amazon on our phones all the time. That's nothing new. Now, here is where we could get into things a little bit. Now, you can get the full Microsoft Office package on an iPad. I have Word, PowerPoint, and Excel there, and those in particular are paywalled. But I will I will demonstrate instead with Google Drive, and so I can make a new document, and so now I attached an external keyboard so this is functional and like reasonable to do. You could type like Office documents on a on the soft keyboard, but that doesn't sound fun. Now, something I'm hoping will come in the next iOS is better highlighting, because here I am trying to highlight that and like move the cursor particular places, and that's really hard to do. Like I'm trying to get it to like right after the E, can't really do it. So that's a bit disappointing. But Another thing that I can do is, oh, don't want to do a document. Something else that's kind of annoying is you have to go in and out of the Drive app a lot if you're trying to work with different kinds of documents, but it still works. And with Sheets, you can do like Excel type stuff. So let's say, now I have not tried to do formulas with this before. And yeah, so we can do like sums and that kind of thing. I guess you could just manually type in the script if you really wanted to go there. That's what I usually do on desktop, honestly. Like, I don't really like all the like billion like buttons sitting around everywhere. Now, I have not tried the Google Drive PowerPoint at all, iPad or desktop, but I'm assuming it'll work okay. And so there's Office stuff covered. And so let's get into some web browsing. So I can make a new tab. Let's just say, I don't know. So let's say, yeah, I want to look through Slashdot. You can pull it up. This is as far as I know, yeah, this is the full desktop site. And now, personally, I'm a Firefox fan, but like most web browsers seem to work just fine. And I know for sure in Safari, if you're a Safari fan, they're adding a request desktop site next time around. And I'm not on social media anymore, except for Reddit, if you really count that. But obviously most social media is primarily catering to portable or mobile devices to begin with, so there you go. Now, with Photoshop Express, it's obviously a far cry from the real Photoshop, but you can do some stuff with it. Alright, yeah, blah blah blah. So let's say, alright, so yeah, let's say that we have like a picture of me. Just gonna load. Now, this is more like, honestly, like Instagram, Photoshop. Like, I can apply a bunch of filters and such. Wow, these all look really bad, honestly. Alright, that's HDR. Now for matte, we can do like that kind of thing. And for white balance, we can like start messing with that. I don't know what charm means. This looks pretty much like more Instagram filters. Now, as I said, it is a very far cry from a real Photoshop because, like, you know, I don't have like all my toolbars and that kind of thing. Now, there's a lot of like preloaded effects that you can do, like, I don't know, that kind of stuff. Honestly, to me, that just makes pictures look bad. Like, and then obviously you can crop. And now here's some slightly more Photoshop-y stuff. Is you can adjust the light color and that kind of thing. All right, now I guess that's kind of like a spot heal brush. Ah, there's undo. And then we have a red eye detector. We can add text. All right, and there's a lot of options like within text. Then that just makes me sad. And then we have like frames. Then oh, now we're having some fun. Aww. Okay, I think that's where I hit the paywalls to get that kind of thing, but point is we have a bunch of pre-rendered effects. Now, you may be able to make a like poster or something for work. Like you can make like flyers and that kind of thing. You're not gonna like do any like incredibly like complicated like Photoshop stuff. Like I don't know. Honestly, my main use of Photoshop is making memes, but there you go. Video editors have been a lot more impressive. So, as far as entertainment, like, you can watch all this stuff on mobile fairly easily. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And also, you can use AirPlay or Chromecast or whatever your preference is to put it on the TV. That's actually something modern computers can't do right now, or at least not well. I have never gotten the Chromecast option in Chrome to work. And a big game changer recently is a real file navigation system, because we have like iCloud, then like on your iPad, and then Google Drive, Dropbox, and like all that. And you can like actually do things now with it. So like I can pull up all these same documents and stuff that I have from my desktop. Now, one unfortunate thing is, for instance, you may see some like this is a Python script right here, is text editors, like programming text editors, are still very behind. And also, I have no kind of Python like environment to run this in, and I don't think that you really can make one. But I do have the next best thing, and this makes me happy. Is if you happen to have a SSHable device, I prefer Linux. I guess you could SSH to your Mac if you set it up right. There are some very, very good SSH clients out there. So if I just wanted to, like, I don't know, like update my Linux installation real quick, I could. And if I wanted to read like my news in like the most ridiculous like juxtaposed way possible, instead of going straight to /dot, I could SSH over to my machine and then read it in an RSS reader by command line. Now, I don't think that X forwarding is a thing, but we may get there. Who knows? And now I've tried tinkering around with this JS Anywhere app a little bit, but not much. But now, sadly, I was not able to set this up in time to make this video, but there are a lot of cases in which you can use the web browser to do a lot of more like techie things. Like, for instance, if you're working on Python things, then you could use Jupyter in the web browser, and it makes these kind of like code blocks and such for you. And also through Google Drive, I've been able to accomplish something using Google Colab. Oh, right. That was one of the downsides, is you have to use the web browser version of Google Drive to get there. But you can do it. So, alright, there we go. Colab.research.google. Sorry, I haven't done Python stuff in a very long time. But here we go. So now you end up with something like this, which is quite common. And what is it? Control Enter to run a block, or I can just click the little thing. And this is going to read a CSV that's in my Google Drive account that I could, theoretically, I could go over to that Excel app, or just be smart and use Sheets to produce a CSV that I could then run with a script. Now, this is actually the problem that drove me away from this, is getting the authorization code, because this is still expecting a desktop. But I did run the rest of this from a desktop before, and you can see how it renders your graphs and like your output data and like all that, and it looks pretty reasonable. So if developers want to push a little more in this direction, then this is a totally reasonable way to go. And I suspect that for Java and web development stuff, you can also do similar. And if you're doing like server maintenance type stuff, then there's all sorts of dashboards. For instance, I use Pi-hole at home. My VPN may be messing with it. Never mind. But the point is, I don't just happen to have a working example of everything you could possibly do with this, but it's very feasible to say that you could accomplish most of your goals in the modern world using this device. Up to and including editing this video. Now, I haven't figured that out yet, and by haven't figured it out, I mean, it's not that I haven't figured out how to use iMovie, but I can't do a Drozdy effect of me including in this video the making of this video. As I mentioned earlier, I can't show you me editing the clip that I'm currently taking in the same video, but I can show you that video editing on the iPad is probably the easiest of the challenges, because like this is just insanely smooth. This is honestly easier than on a desktop. Now, I have not used iMovie on desktop, or, well, I have, but I haven't done anything like rigorous with it. I just like opened up the app to see what was what. But this is just ridiculously smooth, because like instead of a mouse, I can just use my finger to just throw this around, and the video playback will actually change its frame rate or playback speed or whatever in correspondence to very real feeling physics of how fast I'm swiping through this. So did you see how that like slowed down, but then the video playback slowed down too, instead of just getting all glitchy like it would like in a conventional editor? And honestly, the cloud integration on this is better than I've ever seen in a conventional editing app. Now, granted, I haven't used Adobe apps in a very long time. I think the last time I had access to a full copy of Creative Suite or whatever was like 2014, so they may have caught up. I don't know, but like this has been just an absolutely butter smooth experience. Now, as a final argument for it is now I can just pick this up from its big like stand type deal, and now I can just walk away and just seamlessly continue doing whatever task. Now, you could do that with the laptop, I guess, but it wouldn't be very convenient. And yeah, so this is just kind of my final case in point, is that I can just pick this up and take it anywhere. And it's not going to fit in my pocket necessarily, but like, you know, you can carry around an iPad and it not really be a big thing. They'll fit in pretty much any bag. I mean, honestly, some purses can probably even hold this. And so I just think that where everything involves some amount of telecommuting to a different device, that tablets are a great solution. Again, iPad, because other ones suck. I think that just all you really need is a device that can interface with all these pre-existing things that are already running on servers off in the distance anyway. So, you know, why not have something that's lightweight and convenient? So that's about it. See ya.